You've been reading through the letter. What are some of the highlights?
Emily, lots to talk about here. Lots of interest to JPMorgan shareholders and people elsewhere. Let's begin with the one thing about JPMorgan that has fascinated us all for the past year, the London whale. You would expect Jamie Dimon to tackle this in his letter to shareholders, and he does very directly. First, I should say, apologizing. He's done it before. He's apologizing again for the London whale trading debacle that cost JPMorgan in excess of $6 billion. But here's a direct quote from Jamie Dimon from the letter to shareholders. The London whale was the stupidest and most embarrassing situation I have ever been part of. We had a gap in our fortress wall. For a company that prides itself on risk management, this was a real kick in the teeth. Fortress, a key word for JPMorgan because Dimon likes to refer to the bank as a fortress with its fortress balance sheet, etc. A couple other points to make about the London whale. He says that JPMorgan became complacent and people inside the bank were afraid of conflict, and so they didn't ask hard questions. He says, however, that the bank has learned from its mistakes and managed to claw back $100 million of pay from those responsible for the debacle. He goes on to talk about some of the regulatory risks and mistakes that JPMorgan has made over the past year, Emily. And here's a direct quote from Jamie Dimon. We received regulatory orders requiring improved performance in multiple areas, including mortgage foreclosures, anti-money laundering procedures, and others. Unfortunately, we expect we will have more of these in the coming months. So that's bad news. If you're a JPMorgan shareholder, you want your bank to be complying with all rules, all regulations, and Dimon makes it clear that while JPMorgan has made this job number one, compliance, and organizing the bank in such a way that it is aware of and can meet the demands of all the rules out there, it remains a problem for the bank, and we will be hearing from regulators in the future. A couple of other points to make, Emily, on the subject of Europe. He says Europe's making more progress, but everybody needs to be prepared for more potential bad outcomes. Here's something that's going to fascinate you. Cybersecurity. For the first time that I can remember, Jamie Dimon, at the very least in this letter, is making a big deal about the risks posed by cybersecurity, something viewers here on Bloomberg West are very familiar with. He says JPMorgan spends approximately $200 million a year already protecting itself from cyber warfare to make sure that client data is safe and secure. He said the number, that value, $200 million, is going to grow dramatically over the next 3 years. Already the bank has 600 people working full-time on this issue. Again, you can expect more. He's met with President Obama and other CEOs to talk about it and has concluded that the government is in the best position to help corporate America defend itself against the threats of cyber war.